Yo, yo.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
Didn't see
hey. So nice to see you.
that I sliced my finger. Don't know how.
Wow.
That's always fun.
Never started a podcast that way before.
No, there's gum on my finger. Gum.
Gum. Where's that from?
That was from
Is that
Speed on the bus.
oh, okay. I was going to
Yeah.
say Adam Sandler movie, but I was way off.
Way off. Way off.
Way off.
Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you. Happy Wednesday. I actually had to look up to figure out what day it was on my computer. Just calling
Good.
one out myself. Don't know what day it is.
Existential awakening right there.
I've been traveling since December 18th, so I lost track of days. I'll tell you a funny story. I called to make a reservation. I don't remember, maybe for like tennis or something like that. And I called and I was like, yeah, I'd like a reservation for tomorrow, Saturday. And she's like, tomorrow or Saturday? I was like, tomorrow, Saturday. She goes, tomorrow's Wednesday. I was like, yeah, then tomorrow.
That's when you just tell them, I've been in a drunken stupor for the last 7 days and I don't know my own name.
Oh, so
No,
funny.
but I know travel will do that to you.
Yeah, you just lose track of days.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here. It's now. Whatever day and time it is for you, it's now. Welcome, everybody. We want to have a chit chat today.
Real heart to heart. I said a real heart to heart.
A real heart to heart. Not about bloody fingers or not knowing what day it is, but I got an interesting email the other day. I posted about it on my personal wall here. That I don't know if you saw, bro. Someone messaged us and was like, "You call yourself spiritual? How do you charge this amount of money?" And meanwhile, we were talking about like a whole investment of, we have it at 2 payments of $222 because that's just a number that Guy and I are obsessed with. And I thought it was just really interesting. And I thought it was really interesting because I think there's two things that I want to share about today. One is I think there's a huge misnomer about just because someone is spiritual or doing, what we'll talk in like the spiritual realm work, then that work should be done for free or altruistic. And if you're charging, like, you're not spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that in a second. And then the other thing, which I really want to talk about, is this fear that people have in investing in themselves. Like someone wrote on my wall, which I thought was hilarious. They were like, I've had phone bills that have been higher than what you guys charge for your 2-day event. And I find it really odd, like the things that we're willing to spend money on, from restaurants to our addictions or vices, whether it's food, alcohol, smoking, drugs, etc., whether it's an expensive bag or yoga pants or shoes, like that, we're like, take my money. But when it comes to investing in ourselves and actually improving ourselves and learning about ourselves, there's this monumental block for people. Like when we told people that we invested, one of our coaches was $150,000 for the year for Guy and I. And I remember, do you remember, like, people really close to us, friends and like colleagues and partners, were like, what are you doing? Like, why would
my girlfriend at the time was like, absolutely do not do that.
Right. So yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to kick off the conversation, because I find it very odd that humans are stuck in this paradigm of spending money on nonsense, like the latest gadget or phone. But when it comes to actually investing in self and learning about themselves, they're not. So I'm just going to go out and say it like this. I don't believe that it's a money thing, ever. I really don't. Because if you are willing to spend $1,000 on this thing that you hold in your pocket all day long, but you're not willing to invest $1,000 in learning about yourself, that's just bullshit, right? Like, you clearly have the money, right? But somehow this is either more urgent or valuable to you than investing in yourself. So I'll just kick it off from there. I will let you go off of it, and then I'll come back.
I think my view is a little bit more balanced. I agree with a lot of it. I definitely could see that some people are in just some financial straits, and certainly given today's circumstances, I understand that there's a lot of fear involved here. There's a lot of uncertainty for people, and that's fine. But at the same time, look, if you're following some like Elon or I, or really any coach or teacher, chances are you know that they're offering some kind of program, right? Like at the end of the day, we all need to make a living somehow. And the reality is that Elon and I have, if you come to an event with us, and we can tell you how to do that if you like, if you come to an event with us, it's not like you're coming to learn one specific thing. You are getting the articulation of 20 years worth of investment, well over $1 million invested in ourselves, 2 decades worth of experiences, 10,000 people coached. So it's not like, hey, we're going to teach you this process. We're basically trying to chunk down the fundamentals of the wisdom of things that we've picked up that have made tremendous difference in the quality of our lives, have helped us build a number of successful businesses over the years, and just honestly have enabled us to live, by many accounts, extraordinary lives. It's like, how do you chunk that down for somebody, right, into a single experience? And I think that's oftentimes what people miss when they look at things like this. They think like, oh, okay, I'm going to go to this class, but it's really like, that you're getting a very big peak, usually for a small investment.
Absolutely.
But I can see that, and I agree with you again. Like we value things. Everyone values things differently. Like somebody might be following us because they just want to get a peak, and other people just know that that's what they want to do, and they're going to put an immense amount of value on that. Maybe what we're missing is like a Amazon Prime thing where we got to deliver it in 24 hours, and if then it comes through, it's good. But personally, for me, like
in a spiritual sense,
I
want spirituality.
No,
drone that shit to me.
I think a lot of people are not regulated to invest in themselves, or they have a very traditional view of, I invest in myself, and that only looks like university education, and beyond that I really don't do much, or like a PhD or whatever you might be doing. But when it comes to pop psychology, or really digging deep on your spirituality, either a lot of people don't want to take that honest look, or they're just not used to really investing. Also, for a lot of people, I think if they haven't had that experience yet, then they don't really know the value of that. Because like what we offer is a experience. What we offer is a esoteric, sometimes even mystical experience that parlays into challenging areas of your life, and usually, if not always, making every area of life, including relationships, finances, business, health, better. But how would you know that if you've never done it? So look, that first step can be scary. I remember being 19 and being really unsure of that kind of experience. And that's why I think, for people who are more accustomed to that, and they've been through a few experiences, they're much more likely to look at something like that and think it's very cost efficient, or it's not.
Yeah, I would also add that I think a lot of the times, because there's such a hesitancy, right? And I'll say a few of the things that I believe is in the way. One, I think there's a doubt that something will work, right? Like there's just an overall resignation or resistance to like, oh, this probably is not going to work, right? And it's not like that it's not going to work, it's that it's not going to work
for me,
right? Like that's the key piece there. So the other thing, that's one thing. The other thing is like there's a level of investment, right, that people are comfortable to make. And I think when most people start out, they're not going to go out and spend $50,000 or $100,000, right? They're going to spend more like $50, $25, $100, right? Like they're going to spend a small amount of money on, most likely for that price, you're going to get something in the realm of, some video program that you're going to do at your home, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to like really work with someone in a group setting or anything for $50 or $100. Mm-hmm. And at that level, right, like, so they maybe they invested in that and they had that experience. But whenever you're doing kind of like a video course, and Guy and I have done dozens, if not hundreds, whether it's in marketing or spirituality or personal development, whatever. At the end of the day, you're in a room by yourself
Yeah.
with your mind, with no support, with no accountability, with no direction, with no pointers. It's just like you going through the program. And so if your mind is the one that got you into the mess that you're in right now, and then the mind is the one that's watching this thing right now, and your mind is only interested on you surviving, it's not interested in you being happy, fulfilled, in love. It doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff, right? So anytime something comes up in that program, your mind is going to naturally take you out of it because it's not going to want to go deep enough to actually heal that part. And so maybe what happened for most people is like they invested a small amount of money in something like that and it didn't work. And it didn't work not because the program wasn't good. It didn't work because the design of something like that just has limitations. You know, if you have incredible foundational skills and incredible abilities to go deep within and really get introspective, then yeah, maybe one of those programs can like highlight something for you. But it's the reason that Guy and I have shied away from those kind of offerings because we always feel like there's something left to be desired because we're clear on who's doing the program at that time. Versus, so maybe it's this part of like, well, I invested, it didn't work, and then you're gun shy to invest again. And that could be, right? Or maybe you even worked with a coach, but you didn't have a great experience, and now you're kind of like jaded. But that's the same thing I was saying, like, you know, I had a relationship that my heart was broken, so I'm never going to be in another relationship ever again. Right? It's kind of like that same thing. But for us, I think because we've kind of been through that same circle and we've done a bunch of these things, that's one of the reasons that we do only live events pretty much these days, just because the kind of work that we do requires connection. It requires reflection. It requires being able to sit in front of someone, and for Guy and I actually energetically attune to a person, like we just did it with a group yesterday, where we sit and we can notice where the blockage is in your body and then guide you to bring your awareness to it and actually start to heal that part. And so it's just a very, very different circumstance. I'm just going to close the door real quick.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. So I also think, again, with investments, you know, like most of America does not invest money in markets, for example, right? Or if they invest in something, most people, when they think of investment, they think short term. Like Elon and I were responsible for many years in training people and coaching people around marketing and sales in a company that taught people how to bring their businesses online or start an online business. So we did that for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, pretty intensely. And when people, it's kind of the same moniker over there, right? Like some people come in, they take like a $30 application or they sign up as a membership for $300. And those people generally, I found, expect the moon. They just like, they're there because they have a big problem right now. That's probably like the last $1,000, and this $300 somehow needs to fix everything. And they don't see that there is a time investment on their part that needs to happen. Just going through the paces, getting a new foundation, switching from a mindset of a worker to a mindset of an entrepreneur. Like that stuff takes time, right? Like you can't deliver that to somebody in 24-hour period. And then there's the people that invest like $30,000. They know they want the whole kit and caboodle. They want to be trained. They know that this is it for them. Those people generally look at the investment as a 12-month or maybe even a 36-month investment, and they generally are very patient. And I kind of find that that's the same thing that we run into. And oftentimes why people ask, well, why do you charge that much? It's because we are looking for a specific type of person. We don't want the fly by night, tire kicking, I'm here to just give this a chance and hopefully it saves everything in my life, and my marriage is in shambles, my health is no good, I haven't made money in 5 years, but I need this $222 to fix everything immediately, or I will never believe anything anybody ever says again. Right. So there's this interesting psychology out there programs. And honestly, part of the reason people lift prices is because it tends to attract a higher caliber of people into their companies, and they're just more enjoyable to work with. Like, there's a reason we went out and sought a 6-figure coach for us as well, and that was where we were in our business. It's where we were in our lives. It's a gift we almost wanted to give ourselves, to say, yeah, we are worthy of investing that kind of money and having those kind of experiences. And it was extraordinary. Like, we did things with that coach that I can only imagine 1% of the 1% of the 1% of people get to experience, and it was due to that investment that led to all those experiences. So I think it's important to always look at everything in context, right? Like, if Elon and I could have invested $400, which is around what I invested the first time I did a program. Granted, this was nearly 20 years ago. It's more expensive these days. I didn't know I was signing up for a lifelong ride. I also had that mindset, like, this weekend's got to resolve that thing. But like, now, if that was enough, for all the things that I wanted to achieve in my life, or really where I wanted to get with my spirituality, where I wanted to get with my awareness, where I wanted to get with my wisdom and growth, and really this progress that I get to have in this physical body in this lifetime that hopefully carries on to all the lifetimes, then we continue to do it for the love of the game, really. Like, at some point it's for the love of the game. And again, I think noticing that you're investing in something, and the payoff from it doesn't need to happen a week from now, doesn't need to happen a month from now. When Elon and I invest $50,000 to $100,000 a year in our spiritual and personal education, it's because we know that we're not looking for that to, maybe that money comes back this year, maybe it doesn't. Maybe that comes back in a relationship this year. Maybe that comes back in just a very small single realization about something that's happened along the way that we're like, wow, that doesn't really have to be that way. And then, instead of having this parallel line where, life is very predictably going this way, this little shift happens, and suddenly 5 years down the road, you're living a life that is completely unimaginable to you. So it's like, what are you investing in? Like, what do you want to see happen, not just today, but a year from now, 2 years from now, and really 5 to 10 years from now, and really starting to get that broader picture of, really in retrospect, even a $5,000 program, which our first program costs, over a span of 10, 20, or 30 years, that $5,000 looks like nothing, but what you get back in return in terms of quality of life is just immeasurable. Yeah, it's immense.
Yeah, and I find it very interesting that, like, when there's the, that cliche, when there's a will, there's a way. Like, when something's important or urgent to you, you make it happen. Unfortunately, people wait for life to come at them in such a way where they're reactionary in trying to fix the mess that's been made, versus proactive and actually start to create healing when they're in well-being.
Yeah.
I always find it interesting. It's like, people work on themselves mostly. This is, I'm not talking about the 1 or 2% of you, but like, mostly people choose to work on their health when they have a health crisis, right? Sure. When the doctor says, hey, dude, XYZ.
Right.
Right. And then they're like, oh my God, I got to find people that can help me around my health. It's like, why didn't you do that before? Or people tend to work on their relationships after they get a divorce. People tend to work on their relationship with their kids after they have a huge fight or something happens, right? Like, we're very short-sighted as human beings. And I mean, just look around the world. Like, it's just like, look at politics and the way that we treat everything. And maybe that's the switch, is like, where in my life, from a state of well-being, can I choose the area that I want to go to work on to create even more well-being? By the way, it took Guy and I well over a decade. I'm going to say probably in the realm of 13, 14 years to get to a place where we could show up on a coaching call or a seminar or whatever, that we didn't come in with like this, holy shit, like, help me with this, like, we got to work on this. Because we were programmed to think, like, if I'm paying all this money for coaching, the only way that it's going to value me is if my life is upside down and I need some feedback, right?
That's
It took a while to get to a place where we can just say, wow, I can actually grow more while in a state of well-being than in a state of, trying to fix something. So that too is a big shift that gets to happen.
yeah. I mean, I actually answered that person. I sent him a message and I said, hey, look, we understand that people look at money and are in very different financial situations. I mean, look, Elon and I came from a very poor immigrant style mentality when it came to money. It took us some time to develop access to having some freedom around money. And I think again, it's like everybody, everyone wants to gamble, right? Like everybody wants to gamble and win, and losing can hurt really bad. And I think oftentimes, like we've all taken those risks at some point in our lives, been disappointed, had our heart broken, and that just parlays into a lot of people's decisions. I don't really have much about it. I get a little bit of sad for people that I know that want something. They even want to do our programs, and that just keeps coming up for them as a stop. And in effect, I think that's where we're changing right now. Like I one of like the small silent resolutions I made to myself this year too is like, what are the sob stories that I keep telling myself from my childhood that I like I'm actually not committed to. Like I don't even really connect with them, but I've been saying those things so often in my life, whether it's to gain empathy from people or sympathy, whether it's to gain favor. What all these little games that we play that whether we don't think we're playing, but we're like, we kind of know if I say this, oh, they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, that's cute, and then, but the funny part is like you get that aspect of it, but then you also go back into the experience and you feel that in your system as truth, as like, oh, that's something that happened to me, and I got to carry that on, and I got to show my scars and such and such, and so like and we're all releasing that at our own pace. So to the extent that people are waiting for their scars to heal, um, you know, uh, I truly believe now that any educator that's not sending the educated back within themselves in a way is misleading people. And I don't mean you're manipulating people, because Elon and I did that for years too. It was like, this is the methodology, this is the process. Do it and you'll get results. And you will to some extent. But the truth that people are seeking and seem to want to find really lies within themselves. I truly believe that as an educator today, our job is to teach them how to send them back in, and how to look at what's going on within themselves in a new way that they've never considered and or experienced before, and let the truth reveal itself. So yeah, and everyone's at their own pace with that. So I don't really have much about the pricing anymore.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And I will just say that, like, for Guy and I, not for our higher tier programs like our 5K programs and up, like that's a different story, but especially for our live 2-day event, I find it interesting how many people stop themselves because we suck at asking for help
Yeah,
and asking for support.
absolutely.
How can people actually reach out?
Very
Like,
few. Yeah.
very few. And one of the things that Guy and I learned ages ago when we were doing we were going through the seminar programs is this notion of asking for unreasonable requests.
Right.
And I remember, and I'm sure you would agree, like how difficult it was to get the words out sometimes, because you're
Yeah.
like, no way someone's going to say yes to this, right?
Yeah.
And like, lo and behold, time and time again, what we did as we did this practice was it reprogrammed your mind to realize, like, people are actually really willing to help and support.
Yeah. They're actually looking for opportunities to support.
Exactly. We just stop ourselves from even putting ourselves out there to ask, because we might think that it makes us feel weak or stupid or needy or whatever it might be. And it truly, like, I'm going to give you an example. One of our, for this 2-day live event, a past client reached out to us and he was going through some stuff, and he's like, listen, I would love to attend, but like, money is like at a really, really tough place. And my response was, listen, I would love to have you there. Like, what can you afford? Because the one thing I'm very clear on is that no one gets to be in our programs for free. And that's not to say that I wouldn't love to give all this education to everyone for free, but here's what I've learned. I have offered this program to friends, for example, for free. None of them have shown up and done the program. Or they've done it like a little of this, a little of that, but like you pay to pay attention.
Period.
If something is free, you treat it as free. And this education isn't free. It doesn't, like, if it was free, you wouldn't pay attention in the way that it mattered. So this guy came to me and I said, listen, what can you afford? And he said, I don't know, maybe like $80. And I was like, okay, what if we break up payments over 5 months? It'll be $80 over 5 months. Would that work for you? And he's like, are you kidding? You would do that? And I was like, yeah. Because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, like, and I know maybe like the way this conversation is going, it's paradoxical, but such is life. Like, Guy and I aren't in this business for money. Like, we like making money and we like watching this company grow, and we like because then we can reinvest in ourselves and build more amazing things. And like, we love, obviously, like, I like nice things. I'm in Florida at a rented house for a month. Like, I appreciate nice things, you know? But at the end of the day, if we were solely building our business to try to reach certain monetary figures in our lives, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And so it really is about making a difference and watching that person go out into their lives and have better relationships, find their soulmates, get into optimal health, start to build a business that actually matters to them. That's not just like a money business and like they're now releasing their passion out into the world. Like when we hear those stories from you, that's what lights us up. Like that's what keeps us going, not the, oh, we made another sale or whatever it is. So I'm just telling you right now, like if you're listening to this and you know that we have a live event coming up Friday, Saturday, and you're out there, I'm telling you right now, flat out, like we're not going to offer this to you for free. Okay. However, if you need some financial assistance, just come and ask.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, listen, guys, like, here's what I can do. Would this work? What's the worst that can happen? We say no, or we say, you know what, we can't do this, but we can do this. Like, you got nothing to lose. So yeah, guys, stuck the link up there. It's intuitivemind.live.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if you go there, there's a 2-pay option for $222. You can grab that. Otherwise, I don't know, bro, what time does it go up? Like in a little bit, right?
Yeah, very soon, actually. Yeah.
Very soon it'll go up to I think it's like 277 or something like that.
Or 555 total. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can appreciate it. I remember 10 years ago starting the online business, and I remember investing $397 in this thing called a black box. And that $397, I had $400 in the bank. It felt like a $1 million investment to me.
Right.
And it was still 98% of all my taxable income at the time. And that's still what I did with it, because it's like, if you don't change your habits, if you don't change the way you look at things, literally nothing changes. You know, like what's predictable about tomorrow is it's going to look a lot more like today without some intervention that has you feel, think, or act differently, right? And you know what our work has come to. Like, again, I want to kind of highlight what Elon said. No one does work for 20 years the way that we've done, because it's just about money. Again, like money's great, lifestyle's wonderful. I'll take all those things. Give me all the abundance in the world, whatever I deserve. Please let me have it. And you don't do any practice for 20 years because you're just doing it for money. You do it for love. Like, you just think about the things that you've invested a lifetime doing, whether it's music or art or anything else. Like, this is our art. This is our music. We love sharing this wisdom with people. The looks on people's faces and the results people get is the juice. And I truly believe this when I say that, like, service is ingrained in the human system. You want to be happy, serve people. You get what you give. And we're all looking for ways to serve. Like a lot of times when people are looking for their purpose, the first thing on their mind is, well, I want to help people. They don't know how they want to help people, but they always say, I want to help people. I want to do something that affects people's lives in a positive way. I want someone to meet me, and I want when they leave me to that they're better off than when I found them. And I have never found, I can't say never, but I will say there's few and far between experiences that produce more beautiful joy than serving another human being. It's just
Amen.
what's up. So for us, like, the investment that we make on an annual basis is because it's personally making our lives better exponentially year over year. And secondly, it allows for us to entertain how we want to value, how we want to give that value to others in a way that, after dissecting all of it and looking at really what's made the difference, always bringing it to what we feel is like the essence and the purity of the work, which is like, here's as much as we can give you in as little time as possible so that you don't have to go through 15 years of work, but you can get there in perhaps a few months or a few years. And even more esoterically, I think right now, because of the global events, and I'm really talking about esoteric energy over here, we're going through some pretty big transitions on the planet that we can see physically. Most people are not tuned into what's happening energetically, and the veil is very, very small. All the timelines are very, very close together right now. And what we keep seeing over these last few years, certainly even this last year, what people are able to come to it, like at the rate that they're coming to their gifts, at the rate that they're coming to transformations, at the rate that things are improving in their lives, we've just never seen this before. Like it's, the toilet paper roll is nearing the end, and it's moving very, very quickly now. So it's amazing to watch people come to some really high level wisdom and understanding in a very short period of time. Things, again, that have taken Elon and I an immense amount of investment. So I'll come back to it. Like if you get that and you're like, okay, cool, I really want to have a big shift in my life, know that our 2-day program, we purposely lowball the price. I mean, we have early tickets at $333. I personally, from where I am today, again, that feels like a very small amount of money. Again, I understand people are in different situations. But that's why we do that. We want you guys to get a big gulp taste of what the work is, and then you can choose for yourself if you want to expand into that or grow into that. And that's really what these events are about. So if you're watching this or you're listening to it later, you want to go to the event. It is coming up in just 2 days here on Friday and Saturday. Intuitivemind.live is the place to go, and there is a very special promotion that's about to end. So if you are listening to this live, you definitely want to go on that page right now and check it out.
I have a very important question since you brought up this toilet paper roll. What happens when the toilet paper runs out?
Well, so far,
very 2020, 21 appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, so far I've just gotten more toilet paper.
It's like the oil in the lamp for the monkeys.
But if it ends up that we really do run out of toilet paper, I am not above at all just putting some water on my hand and giving a little splash back there. Like when people are getting toilet paper, I'm like, it's really not a big deal. Like most people probably have a bath that they can just stick their ass into and just give it a good wash. I'm like, you'll figure it out. Like our ancestors did this for a few million years with God knows what rocks and leaves, and it's like they made it. Like they had their sex, they had a lot of sex and brought us into this world, and we were just adapted into toilet paper. So like I think we'll be okay with or without toilet paper. I think we'll survive.
It was a very pressing question.
It's very pressing. I mean, it's on the hearts, minds, and lips of every individual out there right now.
Can I just show you guys something? Like, this is just so cool to me. I just keep staring out this window. Let's see if this will work. So this like huge window here, and that's
the kids are out there.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's like amazing. They're like done with school and then they just run outside and like play in a pool. I'm like, this is the greatest thing. So cool.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Lost them. All right, friends. Yeah, so we'll finish it out there. Look, it's 2021, 2020, whether it was a tremendous year for you or a very difficult year for you, it is what it is. We've all had different experiences, and hopefully it becomes profound for you in terms of what you get to learn from it. I hope that as you stare towards your future, you look at 2021, if you're looking to even experience what's happening in this world, with stability, with connection, with safety as a foundation from where you view current events in the world from, then you absolutely want to be at this event, because that's really what this is all about, is creating that energetic alignment in the body so that whatever shows up in life, whatever things you're facing, that you can face it from that stability, choose from that stability, act from that stability, act from that safety, and choose from that safety. So we love you very much. Thanks for listening, and we will see you.